Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we're going to be talking about winter weather, thunderstorms, and tropics. But first, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Now let's get right on into it. So, I am on the National Weather Service page where we do have winter weather related advisories issued. So we do have winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and winter storm watches, as well as freeze warnings and watches. But let's quickly move on here to the radar. I'm using the Weather Underground radar today to picture some of that snow. So here it is. Today we have a few snow showers left behind here in the northern plains, but mostly talking about this. This is the thunderstorm threat that we'll be talking about later this episode. So let's quickly get to that here and move on to the satellite imagery. So on the geocolor loop here, you can see those thunderstorms moving through the Great Lakes region. You can also see that atmospheric flow moving into the northwest, and that will be causing our next round of wintry precipitation. Speaking of that, let's move on to our winter weather forecast. So we're going to go here to the greater than or equal to 1 inch slot, and you can see at 0 UTC on Saturday, we do have 95% chance of receiving 1 inch here in the Washington area, as well as in British Columbia, Canada. All of this is east of the coastline here in the higher elevations. Now, 2 inches. You can see much less of an area, but still 95% chance in some northern parts of Washington State. 4 inches, much less, 80% chances at the most. 6 inches, even less at like 50%. So now we're gonna move on here, going through 6-inch percentages. You can see they go up throughout the day on Saturday, and into Sunday you do have a few areas of 90% chance. And then as we move into some of the higher elevation areas, you can get some of those 95% chances. Now moving into day 2 as well, you can see some 80 to 95% chances as well. 18 UTC is where we kind of see things go downhill in terms of that as the snow becomes less and less. But definitely good chances of seeing 6 inches of snow in some spots for this storm. Now, let's move on here to the Storm Prediction Center with our thunderstorm outlook. So, we do have marginal risks today in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, including 115,285 square miles and a population of 21,336,170. Some larger population centers in the risk area include Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and Cleveland, Ohio. Now, let's move on to our National Hurricane Center. And on the National Hurricane Center, we are still watching Hurricane Epsilon, which currently has maximum sustained winds of 85 miles an hour, making it a Category 1 hurricane. Minimum central pressure is 968 millibars, and it is moving north-northwest at 9 miles an hour. We also have this disturbance in the Caribbean Sea, which has 10% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours, and 30% chance in 5 days. 10% chance in 48 hours, and 30% chance in 5 days. In the East Pacific, we have one disturbance that has 10% chance of 48 hours and 5 days. Now let's move on to the NAM 3-kilometer model. So we're going to be looking at this storm system right here. That is our thunderstorm threat, and you can see it lining up right there, this squall line. But also you see that storm system moving down from the north, bringing snow to the Rocky Mountains and eventually into the plains. Now when it gets to the plains, the snow numbers do decrease. That makes sense. And then you can see some wintry weather stretching all the way down into Texas. That is sleet in Texas there. Now moving on to the GFS, we can see even some freezing rain possible, and heavy freezing rain at that, possible with this storm system, and then it moves across but even more freezing rain. And this is the biggest risk here, Tuesday, October 27th. Now, this is the big thing that I am watching personally, because this would most likely name a storm, because when wintry precipitation hits the south, it is devastating. Just because of their infrastructure down there, they're not used to the cold types of precipitation. So, moving on here, let's go to the NAM 3-kilometer model and talk temperatures. Because can't have snow without cold temperatures, and we sure have those cold temperatures today. We have areas in negatives, especially in Montana, where you can see those whites indicate near zero temperatures, and those purples inside the whites indicate less than 0-degree temperatures. Now, with the cold front here is where you get those thunderstorms moving through. Don't want a sounding, thank you very much. That cold front moves through, and that brings that cold air further south one and further east. But that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.